And finally, at number 1, I have Come Sail Away. So this is by Sashi and Daryl Chow, two designers that I tend to really respect and enjoy their designs. And this is a game that I've been after for a couple of years now, and it's only just become available here in the UK. Now, a big part there of why I was so interested in this game is because it truly focuses on the Mancala mechanism, which is a mechanism I tend to really enjoy. They're one of my favourite games of all time. Trajan uses that mechanism, and I've always loved it and been interested with how to very carefully and meticulously place your tokens down on different locations. Now, if you're not familiar with what the Mancala system is, it's basically you are picking up a bunch of tokens. In this case, it's going to be these coloured meeples, and then dropping them off in a fixed order, kind of chaining out on different tiles. Now this one, those tiles are different rooms in a cruise ship. So you've got your your staircase and your different lobbies and things and cabins, and you're trying to get the correct coloured meeple in the correct place. And you're going to get points once you've completed the criteria of these rooms. So for example, the cabins, say the blue cabin wants a blue meeple sat on it, and once all 3 of those cabins are complete, you'll flip that tile over, get victory points at the end of the game, but you will also then restrict yourself going forward because that's a new space that you cannot place a meeple on during that Mancala dropping system. And if you ever have a meeple that you cannot deposit in a location because you can't physically do so, or you might even choose to opt to do so, then you'll put those surplus meeples in a negative scoring pile. So this is a true example of an efficiency puzzle where you're very carefully mapping out where all your meeples go, keeping your options open, but there's also this thread of racing, because if you get certain rooms completed before your opponents, you'll get some additional bonus points. So there's a good little push and pull there that runs through the entire game. There's a good degree of kind of replayability added in as well, because each game, not only do you play with, I think it's the 5 basic cabin rooms, there are 5 special rooms that you can choose to mix and match as the game goes on. So they're all pretty similar, but they do work in different ways. So for example, some of them might say you want 2 pairs of meeples of different colours, or one room might want 1 meeple of each different colour, or only meeples with these little cabins, little luggage symbols on. And if you ever get a meeple with a luggage symbol in a luggage room, then you go along this luggage track, which will unlock additional rooms and give you more kind of freedom mitigation tools to move people around, maybe pick them up from the supply or take them back from your negative pile and put them on the board. So there's lots going on, but it's all boiled down to this very simple mechanism. And I tend to like games that focus on one mechanism and try to utilize that to the best of its ability. Now, I must say the game, mechanically is pretty repetitive. I'm literally repeating every single turn. But one of the strongest kind of attributes this game has is how quick it is. It only takes around 25 minutes to play, but it does deliver this real satisfying feeling, and it does actually feel like you're playing a grander and bigger game. At least by the time you finish, you kind of feel quite proud of what you've done, and it's quite satisfying, kind of putting everything in the right room. And there's good decisions to be made in how many meeples you're putting down, because you are restricted to these cards that you have, which will show the colours you're depositing and the order in which you can do it. And are you going to go for a card that has 4 meeples on it, which means you're going to fill up your rooms much faster and hopefully get those endgame points by completing those rooms? Or are you going to maybe place meeples down that only have 2 on it each time, where you can place anywhere on the board, but of course you're only putting 2 meeples on the map then, which means you're working at a way slower pace than your opponents might be doing. So again, there's not really much more to say. It's a pretty bare bones game, all built around that one mechanism. But I love the escalation as you're climbing up those tracks, putting more buildings or more rooms into your cruise ship. How the game chokes you as the game goes on, as fewer and fewer spaces are available for your meeples. It kind of feels so nice when you've got like four rooms that only need 1, or 4 tiles that only have 1 room left, and you get the perfect array of meeples, and you deposit them all and finish 4 rooms at once. But at the same time, you could end up creating little isolated spots on your cruise ship, meaning that you can't really get meeples into that room without taking negative points. So yeah, this one really works for me. I'm not going to say it's an amazing game, but it's a really nice and rich kind of 30-minute game experience that has its own niche. So I said earlier that I really like the Mancala system, but those Mancala games are normally involved in more heavy Euro games that are going to take an hour and a half to 2 hours. Or are they going to be more abstract of nature? You think of those traditional African Mancala style games. This one has much more of a modern feel, and it just feels more bright, vibrant, and more fun. But again, I love how simple the game is, blended with how restrictive the game is in those later turns. So yeah, 2 thumbs up from me, thoroughly enjoyed, and I think this one's going to stick around for quite some time in my collection. So that is Come Sail Away at number 1.